Okay, I am continuing my reading of the standard works, and what this series is I am reading through the entire standard works of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. This consists of the Bible, the Book of Mormon, the Doctrine and Covenants, and the Pearl of Great Price. I am reading in order chronologically according to events, not according to publication or volume, so I will be jumping around a bit at times. Right now I am reading in Genesis, and when I read in the Bible, I will be including portions from the Joseph Smith translation, which is a inspired correction or translation of the Bible done by Joseph Smith to restore those portions that had been lost through the years. Right now we are in chapter 35, so let us get started. God sends Jacob to Bethel, where he builds an altar, and the Lord appears to him. He renews the promise that Jacob shall be a great nation, and that his name shall be Israel. Jacob sets up an altar and pours a drink offering. Rachel bears Benjamin, dies in childbirth, and is buried near Bethlehem. Reuben sins with Bilhah. Isaac dies and is buried by Jacob and Esau. A lot going on in this chapter. Let's see. And God said unto Jacob, Arise, go up to Beth-el, and dwell there, and make there an altar unto God that appeared unto thee when thou fleddest from the face of Esau thy brother. Then Jacob said unto his household and to all that were with him, Put away the strange gods that are among you, and be clean, and change your garments. And let us arise and go up to Beth-el, and I will make there an altar unto God, who answered me in the day of my distress, and was with me in the way which I went. And they gave unto Jacob all the strange gods which were in their hands, and all their earrings which were in their ears. And Jacob hid them under the oak which was by Shechem. And they journeyed, and the terror of God was upon the cities that were round about them, and they did not pursue after the sons of Jacob. Now, God, after the whole incident with Shechem, where Levi and Simeon and they all destroyed the city, God tells Jacob to go to Bethel. Now remember, Abraham had spent some time at Bethel, and this is where Jacob saw the ladder from heaven. And so he's going back here, and he tells all the people that are with him, anybody who's going with him, get rid of all your idols. But he doesn't melt them down and reuse the material. He takes them and he buries them and just gets rid of them. Doesn't want to have anything to do with them. So, verse 6. Now, before we continue, actually, I want to point out that, again, Jacob is a large company. It's not just him and his family. There are many people with him. He has herdsmen, he has servants, he has maidservants. He is a large tribe, once again, just like Isaac and just like Abraham. Their household was several hundred. So, verse 6. So Jacob came to Luz, which is in the land of Canaan, that is Beth-el, he and all the people that were with him. And he built there an altar, and called the place El Bethel, because there God appeared unto him, when he fled from the face of his brother. But Deborah, Rebekah's nurse, died, and she was buried beneath Beth-el under an oak, and the name of it was called Allon Bakuth. What's that mean? That means oak of weeping. There you go. So now we have the death of Deborah, Rebekah's nurse. Just a brief mention of it. And she's buried at Beth-el. So this gives you some indication that Jacob didn't just go to Beth-el and nobody else was there. This is where Isaac was probably living for a while. Abraham had lived here in the past. Abraham moved around a bit. Isaac moved around. And after Jacob went, Jacob's been gone 20 years. So he goes to Beth-el, and apparently Isaac is there. And Rebekah's nurse, Deborah was given to Rebekah by her father, Bethuel. So we get all this. This is kind of a family reunion with his father and mother. So, verse 9. And God appeared unto Jacob again, when he came out of Padan Aram, and blessed him. And God said unto him, Thy name is Jacob. Thy name shall not be called any more Jacob, but Israel shall be thy name. And he called his name Israel. And God said unto him, I am God Almighty. Be fruitful and multiply. A nation and a company of nations shall be of thee. and kings shall come out of thy loins. And the land which I gave Abraham and Isaac, to thee I will give it, and thy seed after thee will I give the land. And God went up from him in the place where he talked with him. And Jacob set up a pillar in the place where he talked with God, even a pillar of stone. And he poured a drink offering thereon, and he poured oil thereon. And Jacob called the name of the place where God spake with him, Beth-el. So again, we are just getting the reaffirming the covenant, the same covenant he made with Abraham and with Isaac. Fruitful, multiply, many nations, kings, all this good stuff. So it's just a reaffirming the same covenant with Jacob that was had with Abraham and Isaac. Verse 16, and they journeyed from Beth-el, and there was but a little way to come to Ephrath, and Rachel travailed, and she had hard labor. And it came to pass, when she was in hard labor, that the midwife said unto her, Fear not, thou shalt have this son also. And it came to pass, as her soul was in departing, for she died, that she called his name Ben-Oni, but his father called him Benjamin. And Rachel died, and was buried in the way to Ephrath, which is Bethlehem. And Jacob set a pillar upon her grave, that is the pillar of Rachel's grave unto this day. So apparently at the time of Moses, this pillar, this marker of Rachel's grave still existed. But let's look at the meaning here. Verse 18, Ben-Oni and Benjamin. Ben-Oni means son of my sorrow or distress, and Benjamin means son at the right hand. So I like the I like the difference in names there. I think they work well for who's naming. But I do know Rachel is buried in Bethlehem. Now Bethlehem, I believe, means house of bread. And that later becomes the town that King David is from. But she's not married in the cave of Machpelah, where Abraham and Sarah were buried. And that will come up later. We'll have to talk about that again later. Just make note of that she is buried in Bethlehem. So now this all again, and this happened as they left Bethel and they were going to Ephrath. So I don't know if in this time it was named Bethlehem. I think that at the time that the author is writing, when it was at the time of Moses, it was called Bethlehem, but at the time of Jacob, it was called Ephrath. So it's interesting how the names of places change over time and why they change. And sometimes it can get kind of confusing trying to figure out where places are when where the same place can have different names. But let us continue here. Verse 21. And Israel journeyed and spread his tent beyond the tower of Eder. And it came to pass, when Israel dwelt in that land, that Reuben went and lay with Bilhah, his father's concubine. And Israel heard it. Now the sons of Jacob were 12. The sons of Leah, Reuben, Jacob's firstborn, and Simeon, and Levi, and Judah, and Issachar, and Zebulun. The sons of Rachel, Joseph, and Benjamin. The sons of Bilhah, Rachel's handmaid, Dan, and Naphtali. And the sons of Zilpah, Leah's handmaid, Gad, and Asher. These are the sons of Jacob, which were born to him in Padan Aram. Now, just a couple of notes here. First of all, this is where Reuben loses the birthright. He has an affair with Jacob's concubine, Bilhah. In other words, by this time, remember, by the time Joseph was born, Reuben was about 6 years old. Then Jacob works another 6 years for Laban, making Reuben about 12 years old when they leave Padan Aram. Reuben having an affair with Bilhah wouldn't have happened. I mean, he wouldn't have been capable of it probably for another at least 5 or 6 years. So this kind of tells you how much time has been passing. Now they are in, he's beyond the Tower of Edar. We have no real information about what that tower is. I don't have any right now. Maybe I'll look it up and talk about it in a future video. But we can see how much time has been passing now. We can see that time is passing anyways. Now, in the list of the sons, it says these are the sons which were born to him in Padan Aram. But Benjamin wasn't born in Padan Aram. Benjamin was born several years later. Benjamin is probably 12 or 13 years younger than Joseph. So, then last note, Leah, of his 4 wives, look at the order. Leah, Rachel, Bilhah, Zilpah. Because Leah was the first wife, Rachel was the second, then she gave her handmaid Bilhah, and then Leah gave her handmaid Zilpah. So they are listed in the order of their marriages, and that is very important. Leah was still the first wife, and she still had the rights of the first wife. Let's finish this out. Verse 27. And Jacob came unto Isaac his father, unto Mamre, unto the city of Arba, which is Hebron, where Abraham and Isaac sojourned. And the days of Isaac were 180 years. And Isaac gave up the ghost, and died, and was gathered unto his people, being old and full of days. And his sons Esau and Jacob buried him. So, Isaac died at 180 years old. 80 again. A score is 20. 4 times 20 is 80. So 180 years old. Remember, he was 60 years old when Jacob was born. Therefore, at his death, Jacob is 120 years old at this time. He was about 89. I think he was about 87 when he met Leah and Rachel. Worked for 7 years. So he married them when he was about 94. This is now 26 years later. So Reuben would be around 25 years old at this time. And Joseph, I believe it says Joseph was 18 when he was sold into Egypt. My timeline might be a little bit off here. I can't remember. I do have another video I made a long time ago about this. But we can piece together the timeline here. That Jacob is 120 years old when his father died. From other clues, we can see how old he was at various times in the story. I will see if I can put a link up to my older video about this so that you can see what I'm talking about, because I go into more detail there. But I'm going to leave that here, and I will see you in the next one.